I was wrapping Christmas presents last year and pulled out the old present. And I thought, a lot of people I know don't know anything about this present. So I thought, hey, I'll post it to Facebook. 47 years ago, I was given this Christmas gift by my girlfriend as she dumped me. The yellow sellotape will loosen a bit more, the corners will fray yet again, and I will drag it out next season to enjoy the mystery of what lies inside. Well, that simple post ended up going viral.
Nice to be on the show.
Everybody is wondering, first of all, why did you decide to keep this gift?
All of a sudden, I'm doing radio interviews and newspaper interviews.
It had attention from around the world.
I mean, the New York Post was calling me a moron.
Oh, moron. No, wife stays with moron who kept gift for 47 years.
Every 10 minutes, the phone was ringing.
Opening presents was delayed because he had an interview.
We had to rearrange what time we ate supper at because he had to go on some interview. It was a lot of work. You gotta close it.
Sorry.
You pushed the wrong button.
Adrian Pearce is with us. Hello, sir.
Well, hello, and it's lovely to be in Vancouver.
Well, let's go back 1970. She breaks up with you.
There's the camera club. There's me. We were kind of nerdy, the three of us. I was very shy around girls, kind of a loner. I smoked a pipe, thinking I was very sophisticated. My nickname at the time, and I guess it still sort of is Snake. It was determined in the junior high that my brother and I had long necks. He was called Turkey Neck. I was called Snake. Don, his last name started with a D, so he ended up being called Douchebag. Whenever he got angry or upset, spit would spray out of his mouth because of his braces. Our other friend, Steve, was an orderly at a nearby hospital, same hospital that my mother worked in. And my mother would come home and complain to me about Steve Taylor, spouting all these medical terms and medical conditions, pretending he's a doctor when in fact he's the guy that handles bedpans full of human waste and disgusting things. Vicky, her friend Terry, and her friend Christine were looking for someone to date. They cleverly looked around at all the extracurricular clubs for one where you had to be in close proximity to members of the opposite sex. We weren't all that adept at asking girls out, so when these three attractive young women wanted to join our club, we're like, we've hit the lottery here. Steve and Dawn decided which ones they were going to date. That left this one skinny girl with oval-framed hippie glasses. She was going to be the one that I was going to try to date. I also noticed she had an armful of books. So I'm like, well, this is really great. I like how she laughs, I like how she talks, and she's a reader. So I thought, well, that's the girl for me. I didn't realize she had freckles. I get a kick out of this picture because I think she's annoyed with me. Here we are on one of our dates, and you wouldn't know we were having fun looking at the pictures. I'm not smiling there. She doesn't smile in any of them. I'm giving her a kiss on the cheek here to try to perhaps cheer her up. I was head over heels in love with her. It was my first true love. Our habit was to meet before class. My feet were getting wet. I was getting kind of impatient. She didn't waste any time. She lit her cigarette and then she said, I've met another boy and I can't go out with you anymore. I'm like, well, who's this guy? Get rid of him. I was desperate. She's like, well, no, I can't. And so she reaches into her purse and pulls out this little gift. I'm like, well, what's this? It's a tiny present. The corners are all frayed. It had a little bow over here.
I probably would have handed the gift right back to them. I probably would have thrown it right in their face and turned on my heels and just walked away. I would not have kept the present.
If it had have been like a really bad breakup, I probably would have like had a giant bonfire and burned it. The mystery would have died in the flames.
I would just chuck that present right in the garbage, because what could she possibly give you that would make you feel better when you just got your heart broken, right?
You take the gift, and you don't toss it in the trash. You put it under your family's Christmas tree.
Well, that's right. My mother already had the Christmas tree set up. My father had passed away, just a year or so before. So my mother was trying to make this kind of a happier Christmas.
They had moved to Toronto from a very, very small hamlet.
We were unhappy with our move. So there was all this animosity between our father and ourselves. And then he dies. Afterwards, all the gifts had been opened, and my mother asked me, well, what about this last present? And I vowed never to open it. I threw it in a drawer and didn't think about it for a long time. To make myself feel better, I created this image that this fellow that Vicky had dumped me for, she called him Wolfie, that he was this motorcycle riding tough guy. I don't have a car. I can hardly afford bus fare. Well, I didn't stand a chance anyway.
The first couple of years, I think he was very angry and bitter towards it, which makes me wonder why he would hold on to it. Whenever I broke up with a guy, I wanted a clean slate. Everything to do with that guy was gone.
How long have you been married?
We've been married almost 40 years.
Okay, so how did Janet feel about you having an unwrapped Christmas gift from your quote-unquote first love under her tree?
My wife is a very patient person.
Clearly.
I was allowed to put it under the Christmas tree for years. That's a great picture of Janet. I was the assistant cameraman on this shoot, and Janet's just lining up a shot. This is when I started to become interested in her.
I was editing my film. The last bus left around 9 o'clock. So he would come into the room maybe about 8:30 or so and just nonchalantly say, by the way, I have a car tonight if you want to stay until 10. Then the whole time in that car ride home, he'd going, oh, you're driving me crazy. I'm just so in love with you, blah, blah, blah. And I just thought, oh my God, where's this guy coming from? Because we hadn't dated or anything. He eventually asked me to McDonald's. And when we were at McDonald's, he didn't have any money and I had to pay for my own dinner, which I thought was kind of weird that this guy asked me out even to a cheap place like McDonald's and didn't have the money to pay for it.
The gift morphed yet again when we had children. All the gifts had been opened. Our daughter, she'd ask, well, Daddy, this present's for you. Why aren't you opening it?
I mean, for a kid, you don't care what's inside it. You just want to rip everything apart, right?
It was at that point that my wife said, okay, that's it. It's confusing the children. Not causing them anxiety, but it's confusing them. So you can keep this present. I just don't want to see it under our tree anymore.
I never got any sense from her that she cared one way or the other.
In talking about it recently, I've discovered it actually made her feel insecure. I didn't know that until just recently. There's been a lot of speculation as to what the gift might be.
Somebody said an 8-track.
A collection of photographs of the girl.
It's an address book.
People thought it might be a pregnancy test.
Someone speculated it might be a giant condom. Again, we had never had sex, so I didn't think it was going to be a giant condom that this girl would give me. As a Christmas wish, I'm asking all my Facebook friends to share this post. You might know someone who knows someone. I think it'd be wonderful if there was a way to get her together. Our mutual friend saw the post, sent her the link, and that's how we got back in touch.
What was your reaction when you saw this?
In the first place, it was okay. That's kind of flattering. That makes me feel as if I actually mattered to somebody. And then Laurie, my friend, says, that's not flattering. That is 47-year-old stalker behavior.
We chatted. It was a little awkward because, it's been 40 years.
It was very weird to talk to Mike on the phone, because he sounded just the way he did in high school. And suddenly I'm 15 again. It prodded and prompted a lot of memories that I had buried. Not intentionally, just because time does that. As the social media response grew to it and the exposure became greater, you start reading people's comments and you understand that not everybody sees it in the same light as a 15-year-old girl.
People made all kinds of assumptions from it.
About my relationship with Vicky, my wife's relationship with me.
Some of them were threatening, like, maybe I need to move. Infamy and notoriety were being attached to this event that it just didn't have that much impact on me. I was just naive, silly, self-centered, and completely unaware that he took the whole thing much more seriously than I did.
So you're planning on opening it this year. Why this year?
That's a good question, Mark. I've had a heart attack, I've had cancer, and it made me realize that life can be changed in just a moment. When you're in your 60s, you start losing people you know. Your friends, your coworkers, people that you love are leaving your life. We're all in good health. We can travel. Let's open it now.
I was actually really surprised that he decided to open it. I just figured I'd have this stupid heirloom to pass on to whoever else was next in line.
I would love to get a round of applause for the special guest of the evening, the giver of the original gift, Victoria.
Set the scene for us. What was it like at that opening?
The place was shoulder to shoulder. Money from the tickets sold went to the Edmonton Christmas Bureau.
Nice.
The idea was Victoria would open the gift and then give it to me. So I keep my vow that I never open the gift.
We have totally disrupted Victoria.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, I imagine. She's such a wonderful soul. She's allowed us.
I liked her right away. Like she's a bit of an earth mother.
And here's the best part, by the way. Nobody knows what's in that box. Adrian certainly doesn't. Victoria's forgotten.
She did not know. She worked at Canadian Tire for $1.25 an hour as a cashier. So we knew the gift probably wasn't going to be horribly elaborate.
Okay, this is the big moment.
Do we really want to do this? Do we want to wait another 3 years?
Okay, do we want to open it? I think that's a yes.
Do you want to come back to Edmonton?
Oh, hell no. Oh. Thank you, Jesse. That just.
Okay.
Well, this feels.
Can everybody see it okay on the screen there?
It's like it's sacred. And like it's.
Oh, look at this.
What the heck is it? I wasn't even that good at selecting things like this then. Oh, no, I can't give that to you.
Oh, look at this. And look at the condition it's in. It's called Love Is. Oh, that's so nice.
Super ironic that it's a book about love and you dump the guy, right? It's kind of funny.
Like me, Mike would have to agree. We have been very fortunate in our lives turning out the way they have. I was the wrong person for him. And me? I wasn't finished rebelling. I had things I needed to check out. And I did.
Well, I'm very relieved that this thing is over and done with, and hopefully we don't have to keep getting interrupted by documentary crews and filmmakers and radio hosts
But
and
look how nice.
news journalists. Yeah.
I mean, look how nice they are.